Welcome to A Night in the Kitchen. I'm Erin.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Nicole.
And today we'll be making whoopie pies.
We're from Gannon University in Erie, Pennsylvania, and our goal, as always, is to provide you with some fast, fun, easy, and nutritious recipes that you can make for under 20 bucks.
Now, today's dessert comes by many names, and some of which you may have heard of. Gob, black and white, big fat Oreo, or whoopie pie.
Now, whoopie pies are ridiculously easy to make. I mean, ridiculously easy. So, now seems as good a time as ever to make some.
That's true. Now, way back in the day, this was coming from kind of a New England tradition, but coming somewhere from the Amish. And it was said that, way back, that wives would actually make these things, put them in their farmer husbands' lunchboxes, and whenever they would get out to work, they would open their lunchbox, find it, and scream, "Whoopie!" Now, whether or not that's true, we don't need a guy to give us a box of chocolates because we can take care of this one ourselves.
Now, today we spent roughly about $7.27, but we already had some of the ingredients already. If you don't have some of the ingredients, you'll spend roughly about $15 to $20 to make a whole lot, but if it's for a smaller group, 5 to 6 should do it.
Absolutely, and I know that most of our shows focus on nutritious food for you viewers. However, you might be thinking whoopie pies really aren't that nutritious. However, tell your moms, let the authorities know that whoopie pies actually are nutritious for you. There is a lot of milk in our whoopie pies, in the filling and in the chocolate cake itself. And depending on what type of milk you use, depends on how healthy it is.
That's right. Well, now we're going to take a quick break here so we can start getting everything together that we're going to need to be making our whoopie pies. And while we do that, we're going to head out and see what Lisa and Joe are up to at a local sweet shop.
Thanks, ladies. I'm Lisa Lampersky, and I am here with Chef Billy Kuntz, and he's going to talk to us today about his experiences as a pastry chef. So, Billy, I was wondering, what made you get into being a pastry chef?
Being underfoot in the kitchens of my mother and grandmothers. I was the oldest grandchild for a long time, so I was the only one around, and so they put me to work.
We try to cook healthier here on The Night in the Kitchen. I was wondering if you could suggest anything that we could substitute to maybe make our pastries a little bit more health conscious?
Sure, absolutely. You can sometimes in a recipe, let's say you have a box of brownies or you have a cake batter, you can cut down or skip the oil that the recipe calls for. Or if you want to make sure that you add that moisture back, you can add applesauce.
Very interesting.
Simple substitutions.
So, what's the craziest pastry, baking, cake art form you have ever made?
We did garlic pineapple upside down cake. And that was interesting because...
Did you say garlic?
Garlic pineapple upside down cake.
Okay.
We took the garlic cloves and stuffed them into the maraschino cherries. And the maraschino cherries went into the middle of the pineapple ring on top of the brown sugar smear, and we baked the cake on top of it. During the baking of it, because it was at 350 for 45 minutes to bake the cake, the garlic actually roasted inside of that sugar smear. But when you ate it, there was this essence, this perfume of roasted garlic that was just so subtle, and it permeated throughout the cake. It was one of those nondescript flavors that you kind of knew that there was something there, but you almost couldn't tell. And then when you actually ate the garlic, it was sweet, and it just had this delicate flavor of the garlic left over. It was delicious.
Thank you very much, Billy Kuntz.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Not a problem.
We're going to get back to the kitchen.
All right.
See how those ladies are doing making their whoopie pies.
Welcome back to A Night in the Kitchen. Now we're going to take the time to start getting all the ingredients we're going to need for our whoopie pies. Now first you're going to need 1 cup of cocoa powder. Now, is that the same thing as whenever you're making hot chocolate or chocolate milk or something like that?
No, this is a raw, straight from the bean cocoa powder.
Okay, so you weren't wanting it. Okay, alright, so that's very specific. We need the cocoa powder for this. You need 4.5 cups of flour. We're going to need 2 cups of sugar. And along with that, you need 2 teaspoons of baking soda, which you need to help it rise whenever you're starting to make your cakes to put the icing between. Now you also need 2 tablespoons of salt. Now, why do you need salt?
Salt not only helps it rise, but it also brings out the flavor.
Okay, even though it's a sweet cookie type thing, you actually need the salt for it? Okay, alright, I didn't know that. You need 1 cup of shortening, and now there's several ways you can do this. You can actually take the canned shortening and scoop it out, measure it, level it off, and have the cup that way. Or you can do what we're doing, which is the super easy way to do it, and use a stick that is already pre-measured to 1 cup. So that works really well for our purposes. Now you're also going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You need 2 egg yolks, 1 cup of hot water, and 1 cup of sour milk. And yes, I said sour milk. And that might, okay, I thought you'd be making that face. I could see it from behind. Now also, you don't want to just have sour milk, you know, that you kind of left out, and that's kind of the image you get when you think of sour milk. You're not going to just leave milk out on the counter and let it sour. We're actually going to teach you a little bit later how to make that yourself so that it's ice cold, what we need, and we're not leaving anything out for too long. Now, for the second part, for the frosting, you're going to need 2 egg whites, which is perfect since we'll have them left over from these eggs for the first part. You'll need 2 teaspoons of vanilla, which we already have, 4 tablespoons of flour, 1.5 cups of shortening, which we've got a little bit more shortening in now, 4 tablespoons of milk, and then 4 cups of powdered sugar. Perfect, all right.
Now, we want you guys to be careful when using raw ingredients like eggs or sour milk, so be sure to wash your hands before and after. It'll prevent the spread of germs, and we don't want anyone sick. Now, for utensils, what we're going to need is we're going to need 3 bowls, 1 for wet ingredients, 1 for dry ingredients, and 1 for our frosting. We're also going to need teaspoons, tablespoons, measuring cups, a baking sheet, and a mixer.
Perfect.
An electric mixer.
There we go, so we'll be right back.
Gannon University prepares you to take the right steps from the campus to your career. Practical, hands-on experience in and out of the classroom and small class sizes give you the personal attention you need to help you gain the knowledge and skills that will illuminate your path to success. Gannon University. Believe in the possibilities. Watch Kelly's story at gannon.edu.